Hey guys, it's Josh with Project Idea, where we put ideas into action. Today, we're going to be working on a Titan helmet from Destiny. You can see I used aluminum foil, kind of make the pattern here, and just covered that with duct tape. After that, I just kind of drew the design on the duct tape, and you'll see I'll be cutting that out. That's just going to be my pattern here. My son was wanting to dress up as a Titan from Destiny this year. This is not exactly like the helmet from the game, but it's pretty close anyway. And it turned out pretty good. I was on a time crunch, but it worked out okay. This, like I said, we cut all the pieces apart after drawing the design on there. I marked each piece where it goes, which side it goes, all that kind of stuff. Next, I just laid everything out onto a foam floor mat and transferred the design over. Of course, got the middle piece there and all the other pieces as well. Once I got those onto the floor mat, I could just cut out the design. Looking back on it now, if I had really thought about it a little bit more, I needed a bevel on each of these. So I should have cut the bevel as I was cutting here. So I ended up having to put the bevels on later. But you do kind of have to figure out which way the bevel needs to go, like which direction it should go. But as you can see, after I got it cut out, I used a heat gun to heat up the foam to make it more pliable, and that way I could let it curve a little bit better. And in this one, I do not have any like barge cement or anything like that. A lot of people really recommend to use barge. Barge for me can be a little expensive, so I used what I had, which was hot glue, and it ended up working out okay. You do have to be patient. Basically, I would glue a piece and then hold it in place for a long time, because you have to make sure the hot glue completely dries before you let go, otherwise it will pull apart. I just slowly did this across the entire top here, and each of the pieces and as you can see, doing that, it kind of put the curve into the helmet itself, so you can see kind of how the helmet is starting to take place now, or come together. I heated up all the other pieces as well, just so it makes it a little more pliable, bendable. And as you can see, I had to put the bevels in that I had not done earlier. It ended up working okay, so it's not a problem if you do forget, or it may even be safer to do it this way. That way you get the right bevel in. But after I got all those, I just glued those in place as well. I got the side piece, just glued that to where it was supposed to go. I did reinforce, you can see, with the hot glue going across in a cross pattern, just to strengthen it a little bit on the inside. You're never going to see that anyway. I almost glued it in the wrong spot here, and then I realized it and started gluing in the correct spot. Again, only small sections at a time when gluing these. So I glued the first part on, first half, or the front part of it, and then I worked my way back to the back. But again, you glue it, hold it in place to make sure it's in the right spot. Ended up getting all that together, and this is what we ended up with. It is a tight fit on my son's head. What I probably should have done, looking back at the pattern, is added a little more underneath the aluminum foil, a little padding or something, just to give it a little more space so it'd be a little easier for him to put on. But he was able to wear it. As you can see, I marked out where the eyes and some of the markings would go. I'm going to cut all these pieces out and cut acrylic to fit in so that he can actually see out. That's what we got right here. And of course, I'm going to use that scrap piece of acrylic I had and just mark out all the different pieces, the eye pieces, as well as that middle piece, and cut those out. I'm going to end up putting lights in this, LED lights. We had gotten the LEDs from the Dollar Tree for $1. They had their Christmas stuff out, so we just found some battery operated LEDs and worked that in. And right here's where we put those LEDs in. I had to put the LEDs in before putting the acrylic pieces that I had cut and shaped on the sander. So I just hot glued all those in place. One above each eye, one above the other two holes down below the eyes, and then it had 6 or in the middle plate there. And the battery pack, I just ended up gluing that onto the side, and it looked like this right here when I got everything glued together. That's what the acrylic piece is in on top of it. And I did put some material in there, some white material, just to kind of diffuse it a little bit, and glued that all together in there as well. But it worked out okay for his costume. I was on a time crunch on making this, so there's a few things on this I'd probably do differently if I do another one. We'll look at some of that here in just a minute as well. But here's some of the side pieces that go on the side of the head. Just put a little detail onto it. I just cut those circles out and glued them on the side. Again, I used hot glue just to put all this together. Several different ways you can do this. Contact cement is the preferred way by many people. There's some really good tutorial videos on YouTube on making helmets. This is the first one I've ever made, so like I said, this gives me a good starting point. I just covered the battery pack with some craft foam. I wasn't too concerned with getting into the battery pack again. Not sure how often this will be used. But right here, I'm just running the hot glue gun over some of the edges. Again, I was on a time crunch. I'm just running the side of it on the edges in order to kind of smoothen out some of the glue areas so it wouldn't show up as much. I needed to get this done as quickly as possible. There are other ways of kind of filling in the seams and such, and I would probably recommend doing those if you can. Latex over the entire thing would probably work really well. Of course, I did not have latex at the time, but I ended up just sealing it all up with Plasti Dip and coating it all with that. You can still see like the glue and stuff after the fact, but it ended up being okay. I ended up weathering the helmet, and it looked fine for what we needed. After the plasti dip, I put a coat of spray paint on it, and we did kind of a bronze or a copper color on this. And then on the side pieces, kind of where the ears might be or whatever, just did that silver and silver details on the middle part of the face as well. After all that, it needed to be weathered. Needed to dirty it up a little bit. So we just washed on some black and red and green, just kind of make it a little nasty, and then wipe it all off. As you can see, that did quite a bit here. Use some silver just as splotches on here, maybe where helmet might be in shot or whatever the case may be. And then after all of that, sealed it up with clear coat. So that's pretty well the whole build. That's the helmet right there at the very end. My boy liked it. That's the most important thing. I hope you guys like this build, and give me a like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it, and you all have a good one. We'll see you next time. Thank you.